all of you. I think, Gerald, can you guide us if we are in our clubs, we're club presidents, and we want to set up a Zoom meeting? What are our steps?
Well, the first thing would be to go to zoom.com.
Okay.
And you can set it up without downloading the app, or you can download the app. I think it would be better to download the app, because then you have access to all the Zoom stuff. It's going to ask you and give you the option to purchase an account at that time. I would not advise any club purchasing an account starting out. The only real disadvantage for most clubs to not having a paid account is the 40-minute limitation. Now, Zoom recently has been waiving that. You get to the 40-minute window, and normally it'll tell you, warn you, and then cut off. Well, the last few weeks it's been extending it, and they're doing that because of COVID-19 and everybody's trying to use it. And they said they're going to keep extending it, except during time periods when the system's overloaded. So, unfortunately, that will probably be time period most of our clubs meet. But that's the 40-minute limitation. But there again, if you're doing an hour meeting and there's not talking going on from the podium for an hour, I would try to cut it down to a 40-minute Zoom meeting. Yeah, okay. Because people that are at home on Zoom are not going to want to sit and watch everybody eat for 15 minutes with nothing going on. Now, if you're doing a live Zoom meeting, then you just simply adjust your agenda to the 40 minutes. We went ahead right after this started, realizing that we were going to be doing so much Zoom meetings, and we purchased the first level.
How much did it cost?
$149 a year, I think.
Okay. And so you purchased that account. So what does that give you?
Okay. That allows us to have up to 100 people on Zoom at 100 devices, not 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
Like today, you saw Dinah and I are together, several people together, but it's 100 devices at a time. And I have not been in a meeting other than one convention that was more than 100. But the lower levels, it's a little more than $149 if you pay for it monthly. But when you sign up, they give you the option to buy it for a year and reduce. I think it's like $169 or $179 if you pay for it monthly. But if you pay lump sum, they reduce it down. But you can get up to 100 members. There's unlimited time frame, and you get the breakout rooms then. That's part of the upgrade.
So if you have a free account, you don't have access to breakout?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. That's important to know. Now, so we decided to bite the bullet. We're going to pay our $100 some odd, set up our own account. And I want to have my first Zoom meeting with my club members. How do I get them what happens? How do I put in their email addresses? What happens?
Okay. When you go in to schedule your meeting, it's going to ask you the time, the date, the duration of the meeting, and always put, like if you're planning a 1 hour meeting, schedule an hour and a half. Because it's going to cut off whatever you schedule. This Zoom's going to stop at that time period. Mm-hmm. So schedule whatever length you want to do. At the same time, it's going to give you the option to print an invitation. And I've never done one where I print it. I've always let them do it automatically. It's just easier. They get all the numbers in the correct place and everything. And then after you've actually scheduled your meeting, there's a button on the right-hand side of the page that you click on. It lets you copy the invitation. And what we do, we copy the invitation, or I do, I set them up. I copy the invitation, and then I email it to our members that have email addresses, which are just about everybody. And then we have a Facebook page that is a private Facebook page for members only. and I post it on there. And then we've got a few members that like for me to go ahead and text it to them also for some reason. So I text it to those members that want it. And it just invite, the standard invitation invites them to the meeting whenever you set it up. But you also, if however you're sending an email, text, or whatever, you can add your own wording if you want to. You can, like I always start out with a paragraph about what the program's going to be, where everybody knows who the speaker's going to be if we have a speaker and everything.
Okay.
And then I say the invitation's below. And the invitation has a hot button link to get to the meeting. All they've got to do is click on that link. They don't have to go to zoom.com. They don't have to download anything. They just click on that link and they go straight to the meeting, as many of you did today.
Okay.
I will mention one thing that you can also, for most meetings, we leave the telephone in option available. So your member does not have to have a computer. They don't have to have a smartphone. They can phone into the meeting on a regular phone. And so we have a few members that really aren't technologically savvy, but they can phone into the meeting just on their phone, and that's easy enough for them to do.
I'll be really honest with you. Before the pandemic, I always phoned into Zoom meetings. We'd have Optimist International meetings. I just phone it in. But now with the pandemic, I've had to get used to this. I don't want anybody to see me run around in my pajamas. So.
I have a question.
Gerald, I have a question just for clarity. As far as the fee, I think you said it was $149. Is that per month or is it a one-time fee?
Per year, once a year.
Okay. Okay. And then I also seen where some persons had some comments in the chat box, so you may want to look in the chat box.
Okay.
Gerald, while you're looking at that, I've got a question for you. I know you have the capability, like we're doing right now, recording your Zoom meeting, your whole session. Currently, our club uses Facebook for their meeting every day, every week, and it worked out well. But also the fact that Zoom is interactive, you know, your members can interact with you if you set up the mechanism for that, doing that. Like you said, you posted it on the screen behind your speakers. Is there a way, do you know if there's a way, once you've recorded that, if you could take that recording and link it to a Facebook page? Because I think, you know, a lot of times we have an external speaker that might be something that we want our followers that are non-members that follow on our Facebook profile to be aware of, to be able to see. So is there a way that you can take the recording and put it on Facebook?
There is. Now, I have never done it, but I know that it can be done. And in fact, I think Albert is planning on taking this meeting and putting it onto our webpage. I think that's what the plan was. Yeah.
What will you finish? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm fine. Go ahead.
But I was someone said something about for you to go in the chat room, and I had a question about the chat room. So what I need to know is, when we get on, because sometimes I've been on it, never even gone to the chat room. Someone might have left me a note and thought I was ignoring them or something. So when we first get on, do we go to the chat room right then, turn it on?
Well, do you know where your chat button is?
Yeah, I know. I got it down here.
If you have your chat closed there and somebody posts a chat, a number is going to pop up in that screen. If there's one, there'll be one. If there's two chats, it'll pop up two. And that's when you know somebody's trying to start a chat message. Click on it and it brings your chat up then and you can read them. And once I've brought mine up, I just leave it.
Okay.
Just so I can keep following the conversation. But chat to me is very distracting because to read my chat, I've got to do this.
Yeah, that's what I've been.
And I can't follow it real well. And somebody has to tell me, hey, you're missing messages in chat. And if Dinah's here, she usually pokes me, but
Now,
Gerald,
if I'm in the chat room, I type up a message, I hit return, what if it doesn't go?
It should go. I don't know what would make it not go.
Okay.
Now,
Right.
you can also do private chats in the chat room.
Oh, maybe that's what happened because Anita sent this as a private chat.
Okay, that could
Was
be
I
it.
supposed to say private going back?
Well, yeah, probably so.
Okay, Deanna.
See where it says 2 down there?
Uh-huh.
There's a little arrow all the way to the right, and you click on that, it'll bring up everybody in the room. And you can either click on everyone, or you can pick out a name or two, or however many you want to send it to, and make it it's private to only those people you choose then.
Oh my God.
I will mention though, if like the host saves the chat, it also saves the private messages.
Yes, yes.
So
Okay.
it's not 100% private.
It's not secret.
It's not secret. So don't criticize the host in your private chat because they might find out.
all right, Gerald, we've had in the chat, we have someone who needs more information on starting, when you start your meeting, when you start your Zoom meeting, tips to just save time.
How to save time?
How to save time.
How to save time. One thing that we're all very loose at doing that we need to do at meetings is have a written agenda for our club meetings. And that's the #1 thing you do to save time, is to have notes to what you need to talk about and follow that agenda and try not to let people get off course. And like I said, if you're doing a partially live and partially Zoomed meeting, don't broadcast the eating part and the social part. If you're doing just a Zoom meeting, you might want to allow people to sign in early, like we have on this meeting, and visit, and then start your meeting. But you still got to be aware of the 40-minute rule if you don't have a paid account. And I noticed that somebody on here posted, Edna Martin posted, that if you run out of the 40 minutes, you can just sign back in and redo it. That is true, but everybody has to do it. You're going to lose Zoomers. It just gets complicated.
Gerald, can I add something?
Sure.
Talking about saving time at the beginning of the meeting. If you're doing like we did this morning and today, opening the room up early, you might, as club leader, want to have some trivia or something like that, a question of the day that people can ponder and talk about.
That's a good idea.
Because you don't want to hear crickets chirping.
Yep.
And sometimes we need a little push to begin conversation. So in your arsenal of things that you take with you up here and in your hand and in the trunk of your car to keep yourself prepared to be an optimist leader, keep that in mind, that maybe I want to have a question of the day, or maybe I want to have some optimist fact, or maybe you want to share something great that you're not going to talk about during your club meeting, just to get people warmed up and get some interaction going.
This is Darren. I might recommend too, having a landing page, kind of a start. Maybe it's an opening PowerPoint page that has the rules that says, go to mute. You can even put that in the chat section if you want, but something to kind of start everybody off on on the right foot.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. Also, when you're setting your meeting up, you can set it up where everybody comes in muted automatically, and but there again, if the host is not on before everybody and everybody gets on and they're all muted, they can't socialize. So you gotta just kind of decide which direction you want to go in.
And that also brings up, you should probably always have at least one co-host, because sometimes it's just a bit much for one person to keep track of if people need to be muted, or I've turned off people's video if they become distracting, things like that. And also maybe the host is not the person who's leading the meeting.
Yeah, I think most of the time it's best if the host is not the meeting leader. Not the primary host anyways, is not the meeting leader.
Gerald, we've got a couple more minutes before we're going to switch hats and go to the next
Okay.
topic.
Okay.
We need to be sure that everybody, there's no questions from our group. And also Michael Brown, Governor Michael, Michael and I have been talking about what we need to do Zoom-wise for the end of the year. Michael, you want to tell us what we're thinking? You there? Oh, unmute, Michael.
Okay.
Okay.
Now you all can hear me.
Mhm.
Yeah, Deanna and I have been talking about continuing our success for this year. And so we was talking about the possibility of having a couple of more meetings prior to the end of my year. One of them being the Zoom meeting with the lieutenant governors and committee chairs to just make sure that everybody is still in tune with where we want to go and our goals, finishing up our goals for the rest of the year. And then right before the end of the year, we want to have another Zoom meeting, and that Zoom meeting will just consist of me thanking everyone and showing my appreciation for their support throughout the year. So we do have possibility of 2 more Zoom meetings that we'll be doing till the end of our year, which will be the end of September.
And Governor Michael, we want as many club presidents, club members online in these Zoom meetings as we can possibly get, because we're going to concentrate on finishing the year strong, you doing what you need to do in your clubs to end on the strongest foot that you can. And then the second meeting is particularly a time to celebrate what you've been able to accomplish, how you've accomplished it. We want to be able to say thank you and pat you on the back. And we want to hear and we want you to share what you've been doing that has worked and has been great.
And if, Deanna, if we look at the 4 elements of Gateway Key to Success, that last element is excellence, which means when we get to that point, we've achieved our goals. We've to the point where we are happy and pleased with the outcome of our year. And so that's where the excellence comes in. And we want to get to that point where we say we did excellent and a job well done for this year.
And you know, it hasn't been a perfect year. Everything has changed, but it's important that we on a positive note. And we feel like this is one way to achieve it, to celebrate success. And Governor Michael and Gerald, thank you. We're still together. Where is Mary? Mary's got to give us some guidance. We are about to switch off, and secretaries, am I right, Mary? Secretary treasurers are going into a separate breakout room.
Yes.
Okay.
They are beginning to come back into this room,
Okay.
and I will send them to the secretary treasurer's room.
Okay.
Hopefully.
I want to see. All right. You just had a session with featuring Mark Winesoft and planning for the new year. Thumbs up. Everybody give me a thumbs up. Let's get ready. Let's get ready.
I have a question.
Yes, Betty.
How do you phone into a Zoom meeting?
Okay.
I think Mary mentioned.
Gerald, will you comment on that?
Sure. When whoever sets up the Zoom meeting sets it up, if they allow the phone in option, then there'll be a phone number given that you